okay, bro, we're out here watching Love Island, and the only thing I can think of is how this reality TV show in particular is setting up Stockholm syndrome as a way to trick these people into be pretending to feel love, or not even pretending, but like, well, here I'll break it down. Like, when you want Stockholm syndrome in a person, one of the first things that you do is you isolate them. These people start the show with a week to 2 weeks of complete isolation from their phone, their family. The only people they're interacting with are producers who keep telling them they're going to be a star, who keep
Right.
telling them, you're going to find love in here, promising them something that they do want: money, fame, whatever it is, evaluating them socially, psychologically. Hopefully, they don't have any real social issues. I mean, this season I don't really know how good they did on that, but that isolation is one of the biggest things with Stockholm syndrome. You isolate them. You control when they sleep. You control when they eat. That's that's the next thing. That's a production schedule. That is
So
the baseline for a brainwashing situation.
so that's super relevant point. That's I hadn't even looked at it like in that angle, but that's a really good relevant point. They also dictate who you're with and for how long.
Exactly.
Without them, because then they'll just tell them like, hey, you guys are gonna I think it's called recoupling or recouple, like they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
switch you up. Some people are left with others longer than others too. I've kind of noticed. Um, I
Right.
want to
And
say I might be mistaken. Is it Sherry and her whoever she's with? They've been. I think it's. I might be mixing this up. I think I'll have to double back and double check this, but there's a couple on there. They've been with each other for a while. I noticed. I was like, they've been coupled up for a long time. When some of the others made some moves, I thought, and it was just I noticed like they
yeah,
were one of the longest running, and like the fans with the voting were like, oh, I think it's gonna be them,
exactly.
amongst others. But it's very controlled environment, much more than freeform, like
Right. And
mingling and just you'll have a chance to meet people, and no, it's very structured.
it's extremely structured. And that's where the next part comes in. It's building this emotional vulnerability. You want high pressure social environments to stress people out. We're engineering conflict and romance, two of the major things for people that cause stress and conflict, whether it be real or engineered, like that is constant in here because we're
Correct.
manipulating these people's idea of who they need to speak to and when they're going to go into a confessional, which is another manipulative tactic. A
Yeah.
producer will tell you, hey, we need you to go talk one on one to the camera. It's like, okay, well that's another form of isolation. That's another form of them trying to open up these people to be manipulated by the production staff. Now, I'm not saying the production staff is trying to be loved as, the captor, but they are manipulating these people into a state that they will fall in love with their surroundings. And those surroundings are other people that are, you know, suffering in the same way, but are brainwashed into thinking that's not really the case. And
Okay.
so the last thing is
I like that angle.
you want the person to justify to themselves first of why they're there. You know, well, it's like I want this love, I want this money, I want this fame. Well, what would you do for love? Would you be abused by us? Would you let us pit you against another woman? Would you let us pit you against another man to really like drive the survival
What?
instinct that forms these
So you're like, what
bonds?
could we subject you to
E-
almost
Exactly, exactly.
during this process?
Now, obviously, you have the shows like Survivor and stuff. Like the idea is to like suffer in the outdoors. That's a little different. It's a little different.
Oh,
So we have this these attachment systems that are being formed out of survival. Because that's what Stockholm syndrome is. It's falling in love so that your captor, whether it be however you want to look at it, like I look at these producers as slave drivers. What do
I
you mean?
mean,
I mean, oh well, you can leave anytime you want. It's like, well, I can't though because I've been isolated and I've been tricked into justifying this continued participation of this hell so that I can have love, which is something I think I need and something I think I can find here because that's what you promised me. So you have these people that I mean I don't want to say they're falling in love with the show itself, but they're gaslit into this understanding that well I'm not going to get another chance like this. I mean
yeah, it's crazy, crazy gaslighting.
it's classic pimp tactics. You know, you I mean was it the Iceberg Slim wrote about it in his book. You know,
Oh yeah,
I mean this is exactly. I mean they're doing it on a much bigger scale, but like there's this abuse and then this celebration of that abuse because you got through it. Okay, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have 2 drinks a night, but we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate that you were liked enough in public. I mean,
because like the thing is too, you're not even picking like who you're with, like initially. It's all you know. It's well, you could pick, but it's very much from like a selected pool of people.
yeah,
I agree with you that it is with them controlling because I feel like it's a certain personality type that only makes it on the show too. So like a large amount of the people that you would commonly come across are not even that way. So it's very much like set up to be it's a game show. To me, it's like a game
yeah,
show, bro. It's
yeah,
basically a game show. I mean, the category is love and like money and these things, but it's basically a game show you're on. And you got to work with different contestants to inevitably reach, and complete said tasks to inevitably reach said goal, the $100,000. Or if you're really looking for love, that's maybe all you're really concerned with. But it's basically a game show and it's a roll of the dice because you don't know if you're going to be there at the end or not. And it's largely not in your control
yeah,
either, if you are. So they're in a tight situation. I mean, getting on that show, depending what you're there for,
yeah,
I would say like it's very, very game showy to me. Like I just think of contestants like coming down and signing up for this. You know what I mean? Like it's more strategy than it is like you're finding love.
yeah, yeah.
It's who can be on the camera under who can be on the camera the longest time, like under this like peer pressure, from your fellow people on the show and just fans and contestants, because a lot of them are probably the same age and stuff that are really like tuned into the show. They're gonna be, you know, chances are closer in age and closer in lifestyle and personality type.
Right. And I
And
mean,
then the intro. I'm here to find love, and they're oiling up, in front of the drone cam, and it's just like what?
I mean, hey, if somebody told me that I could find love by oiling up myself on the beach, bro, that's so much
I
easier.
mean,
That's so much easier than
we would be there. We would be
I.
set for life, bro. Like early on, you'd have been set.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have found love in high school. I love the beach, you know,
Like I was always at the beach.
constantly. Where's where's the love, you know? But like, I don't know. I mean, I think clearly the mental health screenings beforehand completely superficial. It's a joke if
Oh,
you
like
ask
even
me.
with the psych evals you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what are they
Agreed.
really looking for?
Very much agreed. I
Like
think they're looking for the most basic like things to say. A lot of them probably get pushed through. Like we're just trying to make sure this person's not like crazy or anything to the point where it was blatantly obvious. Like why'd you let this person on the show? Now are these people narcissism, things like that? I mean, it depends how deep the psych eval goes because sometimes that's harder to catch. Just off top
yeah. I mean,
versus like you notice it right away in someone.
yeah. I really
A
think
lot of
the
these situations they're in like brings that stuff out of them. I feel like to a degree, you start to see it.
I mean, and that's the goal, right? The goal is to have good TV. What's
And
better
that's what
TV
people are
than
tuning in for. Let's be honest. If it was just all smooth and like no one, in those confessionals, no one had anything to say, you lose your pull. It would lose the interest and the pull. Like you said, it's making their vulnerability a brand or like marketable. I guess you could say like they're
yeah.
marketing that.
I you know what I really want to jump off that question into who do you think is the most marketable from this?
That's good. That's a good one. The most marketable. Hmm. Like as a couple, or do you mean like individually
Individually.
individually as the
Yeah, because I mean, I really
uh,
see Chris and Ace as like two of the most market friendly dudes I've ever seen on TV.
Chris is with the Huda lady, right? I think yeah. Um, I would say I'll give you Chris Ace. I would say Maya. I would so Chris Ace Amaya. And I'm this is based off too like I'm not personally I feel like necessarily that but like it shows too like she's one of the like favorites of people, so I feel like she's easily they can include her in some promo. It's very marketable. Like so speaking to your point about um Ace also came in on day one, so he's been there like the whole time. I know
Yeah,
some of these people came like the fifth day, the 10th or 17th day or something like that. So yeah, which is a good sign to me. He's been there from day one. He's young, but he seems like a good dude. I mean, like the portrayal, like you said, of black men on television. This sheds good light. This shows that even at a young age, smart, capable, athletic, sincere. Um, which sometimes is rare at his age. I think he's like 22, 23. So
yeah.
you know.
I mean, that's my youngest brother's age. Like,
Yeah, still a young man, very much. Still
oh
very
yeah,
much a young man. So I'll even go like with him, and then you got Chris, who's older, a day one contestant. Um,
he might not be a day one. I'm I feel lost at the moment, but I think he
I
was
think him, I think him and Huda are day one. I believe. Like I said, sometimes I get it mixed up, but I'm pretty sure. Feel free to fact check that, listeners. Chris and Huda,
I
day
got you. I
one.
got
I
you.
believe they're day one. I know they've been through like some ups and downs too, like throughout their whole little. They even I think they faced getting voted off too, but it didn't happen. I think I
Okay,
think
so
the
she
go
was
ahead,
with
hit me.
another person on day one, and that fell apart. And then it's saying uh they went to the Love Casa Amor, and that's where Chris came in. So Chris is like a 2 week in.
Ah, I see, I see.
Yeah. Okay, but like
But he came to the show, but did he come to the show on day one, or am I tripping?
no, I think that must have been somebody else. I'm not good with names
Oh, okay,
or
okay.
faces, but
Yeah, same. It's so much.
yeah, I'll you know what? The fact that they got that man with dreads on there, Taylor.
I mean, hey, I wasn't mad at that at
Yeah,
all.
I mean, like that's some
About time.
like that. Yeah, you know what? They had dreads. They had long dreads, like legitimately some length in there.
That's all you had to
And they
say. I'm
got
sold. No.
yeah, and then they got what's that boy's name? They got Elon who has body hair, which it's I'm not dying on this hill of like men should have body hair, but like I don't think I think it's a good representation of a large range of stereotypically hot men with
Yeah, agreed, agreed. I can agree with that.
yeah. You know what? I don't necessarily feel that about the women. I feel like a lot of the women on the show are not as a diverse a product that Peacock could be serving in this show.
That's a good point. I'll give you that. I will. I fully agree with that. That's actually a really good point. Why don't they differentiate more from one side to the other? Hmm.
Hey, I mean,
I hadn't thought about that.
maybe it's the
I hadn't
demo.
thought about that.
I mean, it's probably the demo. Let's be real. There's not as many men watching this show.
I was gonna say it must be like the pool they have to pick
Hmm.
from to some degree. Like it has to be what they're looking at and people that are interested, and they're like, well, here's what we got. So maybe it's a more diverse type of men that are prone or drawn to the show,
Yeah,
and then it's more of like
Botox
it's more
Barbies.
of one type. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I hate to hate. They're not
I mean,
obviously
but that's
all.
kind of what you see there, right? But it's a certain type of woman and seems like certain type of lifestyle.
Yeah, and no shade to the lifestyle, but
No, no, I'm not. I'm just stating what it is, what we see. Like that's what it looks like to me.
yeah,
Like
like Amaya is like a great example of what I think a positive bimbo is. You know, And I don't mean bimbo like, I've been called a himbo. I've been called a bimbo most of my life. I can really respect, somebody using that energy to heal people. She's a
Uh-huh.
nurse. That energy that she brings into the hospital or whatever she works in, I'm sure is a very positive healing force.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember where I was going with this. Because it's just like, but they do all kind of sound and speak. I mean, I hate to say it, but they all kind of sound and speak the same.
I mean, yeah, it's very much a similar group of women versus sometimes the men. It's you, like we said, you get a little more diversity. But I think that's why people buy into it too, because it's very much it's very much like the opposite of real or like real love. Like, real relationships, they're not really like aesthetic or like it's awkward. It's like very inconsistent. It's very doesn't always look good or the best or like highlight reel, footage, if
Yeah.
you will. It's very, they want a storyline versus love, I guess I would say. They want like a storyline. Um, if things are getting edited and rehearsed or in any way or like cut out, it's less real. It's less of like a real thing you're seeing and experiencing, because like we talked about, I'm sure they go in, they're cutting things out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure they're guiding people to some degree, whether we see it or not. There's like at least some of that going on.
Do you think does any couple stand out to you as like, okay, this is production trying to force this to happen?
That's a good question.
Nick and
You know,
Alandria comes to
it's
mind
hard
for
to
me.
say. I was leaning that way, but I was like, it's hard to say because like I don't know if they had planned to like get them together initially or not. So it's hard to say. Like, it would be hard to say like maybe if they see like the chemistry between two people early on and like, oh, we should get them together later for like a recoupling or something. Like, do they change direction mid show or is it all pre? Like, do they know who's gonna get with who? Like, in what order? Like, they're gonna do it, or I'm like, do they change based on interactions and people's like
Yeah.
vibe together?
Or do they change? See, this is the part where we have like, I think there's like a 2 day delay, right? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, the episode the other night had 3.5 million votes from unique IP addresses, unique app downloads in 2.5 hours,
Damn, that is that's
right?
crazy.
Like that level of
Yeah, that
interaction
is.
is that's a high level of interaction. You know, for better or for
We
worse.
need that interaction. That's what I'm talking about. And within a few hours, shit.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But like,
I mean, that to me, that just shows that the fake love really sells, or like the narrative of it. It really just people are attracted to that, drawn to that. On TV entertainment wise. Maybe not in their real life, but it sells. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah, and you know what?
reality TV, it be having some people confused. They're confused. Like what?
I don't know. It's the same thing with like I feel like a lot of I feel like something like what is it called? American Idol. I felt like there was a lot of fudged voting in there, and there was a lot of production wanting to save somebody or create drama that this person's still there, and they almost create this like villain, And just by keeping this villain around, like they bring in more viewers, they bring in more voters. So
You know what? That's a good idea.
that being
That's a
said,
good idea to apply. Like like you said, they need a villain. It attracts. You know, it's a focal point to focus on.
that being said, do you think that they could have possibly kept the two racist girls as planted villains? The first one being Ulissa, who can't stop saying the N word. Do you think she was even brought in for that first episode so they could kick her off just to build a little bit of hype in a certain amount, in a certain direction?
It's a good question. Interesting too. First, back to your first question, I would say I don't know if they could keep them on the show because as much as we're speaking to the point of them being like a villain and focal point, I think it would distract a lot from the show and not in like a good way. It would be like distracting like people having like major problems with it and even
Mm,
affecting like ratings of the show possibly or popularity and or popularity. So I would say I don't think they could keep them on the show now as far as where they like set up to be kicked off in that way. Possibly because we know they do like psyche evals and stuff. So I'm sure like, you know, I don't know if they were able to tell or not and just went with it or not.
hmm,
That's interesting. I would say probably not set up to have them kicked off, but at the same time, on another side of it, who knows? Because we know you know people are leaving anyway. So I mean, kicking someone off isn't how big of a deal is it? Like the action of just kicking someone off, you got people ready to come in anyway. So
yeah, good. So
is it part of that storyline? But then see, my other thing is like a lot of these people are like influencers or like TikTokers or they have like a large or trying to have a large social media presence. So that damages their reputation and or following.
yeah,
Or you would imagine it would. So I feel like that's also a risk for them. So that's why I kind of feel like no, because like who would walk into that and risk like your following if that's and if like because if that's what you do. So I
you
think
know,
I'm gonna say no.
and like if you if you read it, like she is using it as a negative on why she wants to get her eyes changed. And it's like, okay, well, guess what? That's exactly, I mean, exactly. That's the exact way you shouldn't be using a word that is racially charged. If, I mean, like, no matter how you look at it another way, if you used a different word in place of that, would it be offensive? I mean, like if you used like uh the N word if you changed out where she used the word and replaced it with the N word, it's just as bad because you're targeting something that is a racial stereotype. I mean, obviously, like black people have darker skin, black people have curlier hair. No matter how you want to look at it, like if you use a slur to refer to that thing and you're thinking of it as a negative, that can't be a good thing.